Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman, and I just happened to see the video Pearl of Great Price by Jesus Freak 777. Awesome video. And that had virtue dripping all over it. I almost needed a towel to dry it off. I'm being serious. Anytime I see parents spending time with their kids and doing things and teaching them things, my heart just melts. So excellent job with that, Jesus Freak. Very enjoyable video. But then you came to the sermon, and the sermon killed it because at the beginning you portrayed the message. The second half of the video you preached it. I'm a visual person, so people can talk all they want, but if I look out my window and if they're not doing what they're talking about, then I could care less. You know, if I look over at the church, Friday night roast beef dinner night is the cars are packed, and then Sunday there's 2 cars over there, I know something's going on. So I guess what I wanted to do is come on and talk about that, as I have before, that everybody has the potential to seek out and practice the highest forms of virtue and justice and the good. And it's much better to suffer injustice than to commit injustice. See his head, his hands, his feet, sorrow and love flow mingled down. Did e'er such love and sorrow meet, or thorns compose so rich a crown? That's talking about suffering injustice. And virtue suffering at its worst form due to injustice and vice. So I think that a lot of times we're mistaken because we think some debt has been paid. There is no debt that was paid by some man deity dying, or some man deity coming back. We still owe a great debt to virtue. We still owe a great debt to justice, and nothing has been paid on it. So I guess you say, well, what are you saying? It's kind of like the parable of the talents. One guy gets 5 talents, Matthew 25, one of my favorite texts out of the New Testament. One guy gets 5 talents, the other guy gets 2 talents, one guy gets 1 talent. And I think, the way I read it, these talents could be pieces of virtue that are passed out. And you're to invest it, because everybody gets a piece of virtue to invest. The last guy who has the 1, he buries it in the ground. And when the time came and the balance of justice was called upon, or the time came when they were to produce those virtues, or maybe even enact those virtues, the one with 5 brought it out. He had 10. He could do something with it, and he gave it to the master, and he says, "Well done." The one who had the 2 all of a sudden has 4 because he invested it. The master says, "Well done." And the one who only had 1 talent, he buried it. He buried that virtue, friends, and he didn't implement it. He didn't practice it in the community. And when justice and virtue came calling, and when it was needed most, he went and dug it up, and all he had was 1. So he couldn't spread it around, friends. He didn't make anything off it. And I think that's where we end up a lot of times, is that we bury that stuff. So the thing that should be dying in our lives is vice and injustice and untruth and all forms of vice. And what should be resurrected in our lives every day is virtue and justice. And the debt to that is never paid. We constantly owe it to virtue. We constantly owe it to justice. And friends, I get all excited when I think about that. You say, "Wait a minute, well, what about you?" I'm horrible at it. I'm horrible at it. I probably only did maybe 1 or 2 honorable things, somewhat honorable things this week. But man, it's pretty hard. I might be even the guy with the 2 talents. Some are much better. So all we can do is pursue the highest forms of virtue and justice and encourage others to do so. And I'm trying to get you all to do that. And it could be anybody. An atheist could have been sitting in that Jesus Freak video with their daughter doing the very same activities. And it would have still been a virtuous thing. Take care, friends, and remember, if everybody's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking.